Hey, welcome back. In this video I will be revisiting this creation from last year. This is a bonsai or a penjing or whatever you want to call it, with two mugo pine variety pumila. This one here is from Costco, and this one here was salvaged from my garden when I moved into this house. As you can see, it has very long branches. This branch comes from here, goes down all around to the back. There is another branch from here that you cannot see right now that goes under the planting, comes out of the planting here, goes under and around, but unfortunately that branch died. And there is a third branch that comes from under. It comes out here and comes here, and it's a live branch. So this is sort of like a very long spindly branches, very flexible but without any taper, and it's the same as this one. This kind of variety of mugo pine is like that. I have some dead wood here now, that is not refined yet, and I have this new branch that didn't survive the styling process that should also be turned into dead wood. It's really a pity that it didn't survive, but eventually one of these two branches will elongate enough to occupy this space. The idea for this planting is some sort of landscape with crazy deadwood intertwining with the container, which is a concrete container that I made, a slab made of cement, actually the first one I made. And the idea is right now, first of all, to bring this closer to the planting with a guy wire probably here. But this branch here I wanted to come under and around, so somewhere here, and it will come under and around, and then just create more definition for the foliage. And I will see if I create pads or not. The main issue with this composition at the moment that I have to deal with is what I will show you now, is the following. As you can see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 branches coming from the same spot. This is common in this type of pine. In many places we have more than bifurcations at any one point, and this is an issue that eventually leads to inverse taper, as can already be seen in here. You see that this is getting thicker already, this is already getting thicker and making a knuckle. So what is the solution for this problem? The normal solution would be to simply remove 3 out of these 5 branches and live with 2. And if that was the case, I would keep probably this one and this one, because these are the ones that have most ramification, whereas these other 2 have less. These other 3 have less ramification. But if I remove this, and this, I will be left with a void that, if I can show from the potential front now, I will be left with a void here, keeping only this and this. I'll lose this one here, and I'll lose the entire back and the connection with this area. Considering that this one here also has 3, and I will probably have to remove one of them, here the best one to remove would be this one if I want to keep only 2, so that there is an acute angle here. But removing this and having removed all of that, I have a big hole here, and it's a bit of a problem. I want to try something new here. Alright, I will use this knife, the box cutter, to make the first incision, and I think I'm going to cut this way, which is roughly at the middle, and we will see if this survives or not. We will count on the fact that it will. And we will cut 2 and 3 because this back one here is slightly lower, so we'll make the apex perhaps with this or this, and this is slightly lower than this ramification. So here we go. Let's see if you can see it as I can. So we'll cut this way. I will make the first incision. The idea is not necessarily to go all the way to where we want it to go with this first incision, but rather to try to guide the next cut so it follows exactly the line we want. I also don't want to cut my fingers off. Okay. That's it. So the cut itself was a success. Now we can, 1, move independently, 2, stop the inverse taper, and now we can sort of use each on their own. So instead of having only 2 branches that I could use from here, I gain at least 2 more. 1 here and 1 of these 2, and maybe these 2 together. I will leave this branch and I will use it as if it will survive. So here's the separation, and with time this will heal, this will callus, and in a moment I will film a jack pine that I have, that some animal did something similar to it in the past, to show you. So this was the first step. Perhaps let's cut this a little further, all the way here. So I have more space to separate one branch from the other. That's it. Now we have a little more breathing room to slightly change this from the front so that the wound is less visible and it gives more separation between the two branches. So this is a jack pine collected in 2018, repotted this spring, and this branch here is a sacrifice branch. This branch here is a sacrifice branch. It was not styled yet, but as you can see, so this is the same sort of mechanism that I'm trying to emulate with the artificial split that I did on the other tree. So right now we have the split here. We'll start rewiring this tree. So what was first very big flaw in the tree now is actually a side branch and another continuation of the main apex. So now we can wire these things in place here. This one will go down further. And that's it. We'll have a we'll have a shadi that it will be partially visible, and I think we added value to this composition without removing any foliage. This is the cut paste for conifers, and I will just make a little track and add it here. This was the most important information that I wanted to share in this video. Now I will wire the rest of the tree and come back for some final thoughts at the end. The deadwood will remain undone for now, as I do not have time to deal with it. So this is the result so far. Not fully styled, only the major things that were out of place were relocated, and the most important thing is the apex here, whereas before it was hiding the structural flaw. Now with the cutting of this into the two halves, which can be better seen here, one and the other, so they were like this, and then they were twisted, so one half is here going underneath and the other there. We have here two of the three that were going to the apex and the other two here, and we created a new apex without any structural flaw. And this was the main point of this video, to show you this technique of splitting so that you can correct the structural flaw without having to get rid of the foliage. So this is the octopus mugo pine. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, bye bye for now.